Hello, friends, and welcome to another vintage fountain pen review. Today, I have for you possibly the oldest fountain pen in my collection. This is a Waterman number 14. I also have in my collection a Shepherd's Craig from the 1920s, but I believe that this Waterman is older than the Shepherd Craig because the Shepherd Craig has a lever filler, and I believe this is eyedropper. I'm not so sure. So before I continue my review, you can see that the material used when this fountain pen was new, it was a hard rubber, but you know that this material develops this brown patina in time. I have in front of me the body of the fountain pen, but it isn't in good shape. I want to zoom on it to show you. So it originally had those patterns. You can see them at the end of the cap. They are still visible. You can see also that this metallic part, this trim, was initially, I think, gold plated, but with the passing of the time, it developed this patina. Also, we have something written here, and I distinguish Waterman, New York, Fort, okay, New York, and the patent number. It isn't visible in USA over there. So this fountain pen has seen in these days quite lots of use because with the content of the hand the imprints have faded away. Another surprise to me is that the cap is pressure fit, and I believe that all the fountain pens till the invention of the pressure fit in the late 40s, early 1950s by the Germans, I believe. They had a model from Matador called Easy Click. I thought to myself that all the fountain pens were screwed in, but it appears that this model isn't. It hasn't a screwed in cap. Maybe you are wondering why I bought this fountain pen in this condition. Well, I bought it for the nib. And let me show you this part. I believe you can fill it with a syringe or eyedropper, and it has the barrel has a roll of the reservoir of ink. Well, I bought this fountain pen because of this nib. As you can see, it is slightly deformed at the end. Waterman's ideal New York number 4 nib. And let me tell you, the top of the nib is quite good, but you can see the little tines that they are crossed over. You can see them, yes. Let me zoom real close to it. So you can see the little tines, they are not perfectly aligned. And this happened in time because of the specific of this particular nib. So this isn't an ordinary nib. So guys, the vintage Watermans, especially those made in America and Canada, are quite famous because of their gold flexible nibs. So, a fountain pen like this during its lifetime, and we are speaking about 80, 90, or maybe even 100 years old. This is a 100 years old fountain pen, and during its lifetime, it was used for its flexiness. So this nib, this fragile nib, has seen lots of abuse in its lifetime. That's why I will try to write with it as gentle as I can. So I will leave its dimensions on the screen, including of the cap. Remember, I believe that the clip of the cap is missing. And for those viewers which are more, let's call them old fashioned, I will do something that I think will annoy you, because I will use for the writing sample a pink ink from Faber Castell. Probably this vintage waterman never wrote in a pink ink, and this is the beauty of it. So, being a vintage fountain pen, I don't know for sure this is an eyedropper. So, I will simply dip in ink the fountain pen, and I will use it like desk ink. Okay, so first of all, let's take the fountain pen, immerse it in ink. Okay, you can see the beautiful pink ink. I will leave open the ink bottle, but I will be very careful not to turn it over. Of course, I just want to show you that this pose, I won't leave it posted because I'm afraid that it will develop cracks, sorry, scratches. And now for the important writing sample. Let's see. I have a Waterman, Waterman number 14. A beautiful fountain pen from, I believe, 1900s, let's say till 1920. This is a beautiful 14 karat gold nib. And let's see if the line variations will help me. Oops. So, you've seen that thing. That thing happens when the little tines cross over each other. You can see. If you watch my channel, we saw the same problem on an Italian vintage fountain pen, the Scotland pen. It had the same problems. So it definitely needs a nib master to work on it. But this is quite a nice juicy nib. You see the juiciness of it, and it is quite flexible. So let me zoom as far as I can go, and let me show you what I mean. You can see the little tines that move, and they move, and they leave behind those quite thin lines. Let's see again. Okay, and when you can see the little tines cross one another. So guys, this definitely needs some fine tuning, but believe me, I think it is worth all the money. So remember, I paid for this 250 lei, which approximately translates to 50 euros or approximately 60 American dollars. And I bought this specifically for this nib. Indeed, this nib needs a little bit of work, but it is quite smooth, and I don't know, maybe it will cost me another 50 or 60 euros just to make it right again. But in my opinion, it is worth all the money. It is my first, um, not my first, but my third, or my definitely the third FlexiNib in my collection, because I have another Omas Extra, a desk pen from the 1950s, which is also flexible and interesting. It has the same problems with the times. So, guys, the lesson of today's video is when you buy a vintage flex nib, just test it, because it definitely needs service, and because of the abuse in time that it suffered. You are not the first one that apply pressure on it, but the pressure should be also gentle. Those are quite delicate writing instruments, and they require a gentle manipulation. Thank you guys for your time. I hope you've enjoyed this review with my beautiful vintage Waterman, one of the oldest fountain pens in my collection. If you've enjoyed this review, please subscribe to my channel, because you really help me a lot in my activity by subscribing. Thank you for your time. As always, I wish you to have a nice day, and see you again on the next episode. Bye bye.